Hey, Product Boss. It's that time of year again. The holiday season is just around the corner. And here at the Product Boss, we are getting prepared early for the holiday season. Now, we know you're going to have a lot more than turkey and pumpkin pie on your plate later this year. So, we want to invite you to our free 3-part workshop series, The Product Boss's Guide to Getting Holiday Ready and Recession Proofing Your Business. Now, these workshops are brand new and revamped, and we're sharing some of the biggest tips and tricks on how to prepare yourself and your business so you can 2x your sales without 2xing your efforts. And with talks of a down economy, we want to make sure that you feel confident and prepared to push through no matter what. Listen, Product Boss, if we've learned anything over the past 2 years, we know you've got this, and we're stronger building our businesses together. And honestly, we have way too much fun to call it work. So the first workshop kicks off soon. Head to theproductboss.com/holiday to sign up today, and we will see you in there.
Welcome to the Product Boss Podcast, where we help product-based businesses grow their sales and improve their strategies.
Hey, everyone. I want to introduce you to my co-host and biz bestie, Mina Kunlo-Sitep, an Amazon guru that has built a multi-6-figure product-based business.
And introducing the other half of the Product Boss, Jacqueline Snyder. She has helped launch and grow over 500 fashion apparel and accessory brands, even one of her own.
And together, we share our inventory of secret weapons that will help you dig deep and do the work it takes.
Are you ready? Let's build together.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Product Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Jacqueline Snyder, with my holiday-ready co-host, Mina Kunlo-Sitep. Hey, Mina.
Hey, Jacqueline.
Do you feel holiday ready yet?
Well, believe it or not, it's around the 100-day mark of being right at, it's actually 100 days from Cyber Week, actually. So does that feel crazy or what?
I don't know. I think it depends on, I feel like 100 days feels either like a really long time or a short time, depending on how prepared you are. So I think knowing that it's within 100 days feels like, okay, it's right around the corner. And I think those of you listening where you're like, okay, I'm ready, let's do this. Or, oh my goodness, there's only 100 days left. I have to start working on my business right now for the holiday season.
Yeah, I feel like it's the perfect time, really. Like I imagine visually this calendar on my wall that I'm doing a countdown, like for Christmas, where it's like you have those little rings that you put together with paper and you're like counting down 100 days till Christmas. It's kind of like that, which 100 days looks like a lot, but it's not a lot. But like Jacqueline said, if you're prepared for the holiday season, you can really build in, the enjoyment and the planning and everything that doesn't make you feel overwhelmed. This is what a lot of people, a lot of bosses, how we teach in this case is getting ready in your, quote unquote slow season. Q3 tends to be busy for some people, and then Q4 is their big season. So we're just speaking from that generalization. But when you feel like you're getting your ducks in a row, this is the time to be doing it if it's the holiday season that you're preparing for.
Totally. First, I just want to pause real quick and ask you all a holiday favor for us. And would you mind subscribing to the podcast if you're not subscribed already? By doing that, you're going to let the podcast world out there know that you like what you're listening to, and you will get new episodes delivered to your inbox every week. We do 2, one on Monday and one on Thursday. And then if you think that this is a really helpful episode that you think could help another product-based business owner out there or someone who's thinking about growing a business, would you mind sharing this episode with them? It would be so helpful to help them out and then help us be able to impact as many lives as we possibly can through growing a business that's going to lead to the life that you love. So
yeah.
Thank you.
I'm going to say I'd rather have the share than the subscribe, because you know what a fun fact is with our podcast production team, they said that basically everybody that subscribes to us listens to all the episodes. You can tell from like the data of the downloads. And what we really need though is the shares. So if you have met anybody at a craft fair or a fellow vendor or at a trade show or a boutique, just in passing, it's a great way to share us is by, making conversation with your, neighbor at a craft show and sharing with them what you're listening to. The Product Boss podcast.
You should listen to the Product Boss, or because they don't actually know, and not everyone turns to podcasts. I think another way is that you can just share in the app and it lets you send a text message or copy the URL if you like this episode specifically. So
Or DM
thank
it
you.
to them.
And I will tell you, you know this as product-based business owner, same thing. You want people to refer you out so that you can continue to grow your business. So thank you. We will do it for you. And thank you for helping us. So, okay, jumping in. So we have 100 days about until Cyber
Dun,
Week.
dun, dun.
Dun,
Actually,
dun,
that doesn't feel like,
dun.
it doesn't feel like dun, dun, dun. It feels like that's a good amount of time. I feel like it's a good amount of time for sure.
P.S. Did you ever think we would become singers on a podcast?
I don't know if you call that singing.
Well, we do definitely go into sing-song voice sometimes, and I can't believe we do it into a microphone because I would never do it in real life.
Probably because, I do it in personal life. So I feel like, I
get to
don't
know you
really
better.
fully think about that it's going out to other ears. I'm just sitting here with you sing-songing
Just
it up.
performing for me. Okay,
Yeah.
now sing.
So it's like, just being normal. And,
Welcome to us.
yeah. And then I don't think about that, I don't think of it as like I'm on a stage or it's going out to millions of ears or whatever,
Don't think about it now. Do not. It's like when you're on a plane.
Well,
Don't think about it.
Yeah, for real.
Okay. So first off, I just want to tell everybody that we're super excited if you're listening to this in real time, because we have, if you've done it before, and if you haven't, we're really excited to invite you to it, as we're doing the Product Boss's Guide to Getting Holiday Ready. And it is a workshop series that it's totally free. There's 3 weeks of it. We're doing one a week, so it doesn't have to feel overwhelming. You can, come in, it's about an hour, get some work done, and we'll do it together. So this is amazing. It's kicking off next week. It's going to be live. But if you opt in, you will get the recording for a limited amount of time. And what we're going to talk about today is how to get prepared, but we want you to sign up. Go sign up right now. Thousands of product bosses have gone through it. And if you go to
Tens of thousands.
And if you go to theproductboss.com/holiday, again, theproductboss.com/holiday,
Holiday.
Holiday.
That felt more Broadway. I feel probably, James.
I know. I don't even know where I pulled that
I
tune
feel
from.
like what's a like a jingly, like a Christmas tune, or
I don't know. It's a summer. I don't have
holiday,
it in my head.
holiday.
I have like watermelon sugar. Ha. I'm gonna have to pay him some money for that one.
I feel like we need a jingle, like a Jingle Bell Rock sort of vibe to it.
I know that right now, listener, you're probably like singing. You're like, I got one. Holiday, holiday, holiday prepared.
Till we get sued. Take it easy on that.
Oh God. Okay. Shh, nobody share this episode now. So theproductboss.com/holiday, get signed up. We are just as fun when we teach live. But we want to help you get super prepared. And we are going to lead into the Rock Your Holiday Promotions Challenge. That's also a totally free 5-day challenge that we're going to do later in September. So, but right now in the summer, super easy. It's only about an hour. You'll start to feel prepared. And that 100 days is going to start to feel like, okay, I've got it. I've got a plan, right? So we're going to talk about today a few things that you can do right now while it's still toasty outside, to start to feel prepared and come up with be able to enjoy your holiday season, because we know it gets busy, and then crush it in business.
Yeah, I think that it's easy to feel overwhelmed coming into the holiday season, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed right now, but if you feel like you're feeling overwhelmed, or there's too many ideas, or you have no idea what's going to happen during the holiday season, it is really nice to have a plan in place, feel like, what am I going to do?
Yeah. So I think one of the first things to do, and we like to do this at the beginning of the year, but I would tell you right now too, is come up with a word to describe your holiday season, right? So how do you want to feel? Is it joyful? Is it festive? Is it relaxed? Is it not stressed?
Yeah. This is the visioning part. And we always start with this, even with our masterminders, of, if you were to vision out, this quarter or this holiday season, as we're saying, what would that look like for you? So I know this doesn't come easy to a lot of people. A lot of people, push back on the idea of visioning sometimes because they're like, I don't know if I'm good at it. There's no such thing as being good at visioning or not being good at it. It's literally just being more mindful of what you want something to look like and then visualizing it, because what you expect, you will get. So if you expect this word that's coming to your mind, you'll usually be able to work your way backwards from it, right? And you'll be able to know that this is what my priority was, or this was important to me. So I know it's hard to get into that mode, visioning out, because, it's a forecasting. Like when people are like, where are you going to be in 5 years? Or where's your business going to be in a year? We have no idea. This is the fourth quarter though. What do you want it to feel like? If you were to sit down and put a word or phrase to it, what would be how you want to feel?
So I know a lot of times, our multi-stream machine students have said it too, where if you're lucky enough to be so busy with work, right, that your sales really blew up, and your capacity is whatever your capacity is. You might have a full-time job and you're needing to ship, just a few orders a day, but that might feel overwhelming. You may have a bunch of kids, even 2 kids, 1 kid, whatever. Kids are kids.
Fur kid. Plant kid.
Kid, which we should never have that are alive, because we would not be able to raise those. But, you may have felt overwhelmed at some point during the holiday season and said to yourself, I don't want to do this again. Next year, I want it to be different. The flip side could be that you were not as busy as you had hoped, right? Like that you're waiting for the sales to come in, but they weren't coming in. So depending on however I think sometimes you can go back to how you felt and then say, I don't want to feel that way again. Let's find the opposite feeling and set that as our goal for Q4.
I have a word. So if anybody wants to take the same word as me, that would be perfectly fine. We can share this word. We can be word twins, quadruplets, whatever though it ends up being. But the word is confident. I want to feel confident this holiday season of the things I'm doing, the things I'm doing at home. And I want to just, go in there feeling confident and walking out confident. That's what the word.
And it could be confident in like the choices you make, confident in that you are following some sort of plan that you've preset, confident in you're doing the best you can.
Confident in having a fun time for my kids and doing the family stuff, and also being able to make money in my business. And, I think that it gets overwhelming because of expectations or on myself or whatever else it is. But I think that for sure, feeling confident of my kids had the best holiday season. I had the best holiday season in business. It was a great season. I think that would be a great focus.
Confident that what you're doing is enough. Right. Confident that you've made
more than enough.
You've pre-planned it and that you're following your plan. So the next thing we want you to do is we want you to set a revenue goal for Q4. So what does that number look like? Now, we've heard the stats that for product-based businesses, Q1, Q2, and Q3, all the revenue generated in those 3 revenues, that a lot of product-based businesses can double that in Q4. Okay. This is not to say this is what you need to do, but I just want to tell you that's the influx of sales, of consumers' buying behavior, of people wanting to buy things, okay? Plus with sales and all the things that happen. So, but for you right now, what would you like to set for Q4? Do you want it to be the same as you did last year? Do you want it to be a few percentages up higher? Do you want it to be double, triple? Do you want to just
if you've already set it for this year, let's say it's like, $50,000, $100,000, whatever it is. Well, we're in Q3 right now. You can just do the math and work backwards, right? Like subtract what you made in Q1, subtract what you made in Q2, subtract what you're going to make in Q3, what you predict, now that we're in Q3, and then what's the remainder of it? What is your forecasting of it?
Yeah. And can you push? Do you think you're going to hit it? Are there more things you need to do that? Or have you exceeded your goals and you can actually ease off the pedal a bit if you're okay with that? Just depends on the kind of business owner you are, what you want to do this season.
If anything, like looking at the profit, like if you want to ease off, easing off doesn't mean more, like you're just you hit the revenue goals. I think that with a lot of people, they're like, "Ooh, if I ease off, that means I'm failing, or I didn't do enough, or I could have done more, or whatever else it is." But the thing is, if you ease off, you could just have more room for strategic growth. Like, what am I going to be doing? Oh, I could get onto another sales channel for the following year. I could, you know, bring on another team member, whatever it looks like. It just builds in room in my mind versus that you met your goals and that you didn't do enough, or that those are the only two options.
Yeah. Happy holidays. Okay, don't think, Jocelyn, what are you talking about? It's still warm outside. I know, but guess what? We want to get you uber prepared for this holiday season, because what we want is that you can get consistent sales, right? Have steady growth and keep growing your business beyond always having to offer a discount during the holiday season to drive sales. So if you want to get prepared while it's still warm outside, you can jump in and grab 101 content ideas beyond the holiday discount. And it is a bundle of content prompts, tools, hashtags, and templates. And it includes a 3-month calendar with things to say every single day from October to December. It is so helpful. So go out, enjoy the sunshine, and feel uber prepared for the holiday season when you grab yours now. Just head to holidaycontentideas.com. Okay, so the next thing we want you to do and what we want you to think of, and which is why we're talking about this in August, which is why we have the Product Boss's Guide to Getting Holiday Ready workshops happening in August. It's why the Rock Your Holiday Promotions Challenge starts in September, is that we want to be here with you to help you pre-plan, right? And feel as prepared as you can for the next 100 days, right? We just want you to pre-plan. So the 3 things we're going to talk about inside of the workshops and we're going to share with you here are the things that we think are really important to prepare, to plan, to ramp up, to be ready for the holiday season so that you can enjoy it too. So the first thing is time. How about time, Mina?
Yeah. So I thought you were going to say all 3. That's why I was
okay. I could
waiting.
do 3.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if I was going to reveal. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like the 3 pillars that we're really anchoring on a well planned out holiday season. How are you going to get holiday ready? Well, focus on these 3 things.
Right. So the 3 things we're going to talk about inside of the workshops that we're going to touch on here in this episode are time, scaling, and focus, right? So time, right? The end of the year is busy and it can feel like you have to shove 100 hours into 40 hours. So how do you make it all work? And then when it comes to scaling, what happens if you can't handle the influx of sales, right? Especially if you're making everything with your own 2 hands. So if you're a maker, that starts to feel crushing, right? It starts to feel harder to hit your goals. So how
what does scaling even mean? I think that's the thing that we clear up for people is like, what does that world of scaling look like? Scaling is not a term that everybody is familiar with, but it's just really growing in strategic ways. So that's what we're talking about, of how can you still make your goals at the same time, not make everything with your own 2 hands, which tends to be a hindrance in all of it.
Right. Yeah. That idea of growth, because so many times we hear people say, I want to grow, I want to hit these revenue levels, but there's no possible way that I can do it. Because
no possible way I can make more, which is true. You can't make more physically. You hit your own bottleneck of capacity. But that's actually not how scaling works. You're not making more of a million things. Like you couldn't potentially make 1 million widgets, for example,
Ooh, what are widgets?
That's the example that everybody gives is widgets, widgets and doodads.
Widgets from back in the day widgets.
It's like old timer slang if you all grew up with me.
You couldn't possibly make, let's think about even some older old time slang. You couldn't possibly whittle your own forks.
Well, you'd whittle your own chopstick, if anything, because that would be way easier than a fork, people. Come on.
It totally would.
Let's think strategically here.
Okay, everybody learn how to eat with a chopstick, but it's easy. 2 sticks, just whittle them down.
You don't even need to make 2. You do 1 and you break it in half. Boom.
You're so effective. If you need more business tips like this, make sure to sign up for our workshop series.
Think streamline here.
Okay, and the last thing we want you to think about and work on to pre-plan and prepare for this holiday season is focus, right? So again, with Mina's example, right? How do you know which products to focus on throughout the holiday season, right? I'm going with forks. Well, can we make it easier and go with chopsticks?
Yeah.
And what should you put front and center to
I mean,
make it,
Jacqueline would starve, okay?
I'd make one and give up.
It's like you can't eat with your hands or something.
Actually, my people in
She would,
Morocco
no, I
ate with
got
their
it.
hands. They ate
You'd
with bread.
Yeah, they do actually. And strategically too, because they do it with one hand, right?
Probably.
Yeah, to keep the other one clean. So you know what, I know what you would do. You would be like, oh my God, I came up with something so brilliant, a one-pronged fork. And I would look at you and say, that's literally a chopstick.
So my son last night has 2 toothbrushes and he's brushing his teeth with 2 toothbrushes at the same time.
Oh,
And I was
nice.
like, gosh, you're really like, he knows how to streamline here. And I was like, we should invent like a chopstick version of toothbrushes that you can kind of like put them in and put them out and like brush like 2 sides at once. And then my husband's like,
Oh, nice.
they have this thing you can put in your mouth that like brushes all your teeth at once and like a car wash for your mouth.
Oh, they do for little kids. I saw that. I was like, I think my kids would gag. I don't know.
Yeah. But we were just, we were inventing last night. And then also, let me just tell you where this originates from. My mom, we were at dinner yesterday and she was talking about how my niece won't let like anyone braid her hair. So she starts like braiding it on the down low. She's like 18 months old. She starts to like kind of like hide braiding her hair. And then all of a sudden my mom picks up a fork. She's about to like comb her hair back with this fork. And I'm like, Mom, are you about to use a dingle hopper?
Because of
We
Little
are a very
Mermaid.
creative family, let me tell you.
Doodad. Oh, what did she call it? Doodads and What's It's Galore. That's from
Yeah.
that song. Yeah. I couldn't get the tune.
We're
in
not
time.
going to sing that one for you because Disney will for sure come after.
Yeah, they will.
Okay, so let's actually get back into this episode in terms of the things that we want to
But the last one was focus. Clearly, we need some of that in our life in this episode. So focus. And when Jacqueline came talking about it, she approached it in the way of products, but it focused all together, I think. When you're 100 days out, what are you going to focus on? What are the things that are going to truly make you money? What are the products that you're going to sell? Where are you going to focus your time? All together, focus is needed. And I think especially as entrepreneurs, because the way that you prevent overwhelm or that you alleviate overwhelm is that you figure out what you're going to focus on, right? Because then otherwise, we're bound to get derailed. I mean, everybody gets derailed. It's just we're humans, So even if you get derailed, this is the plan. I'm supposed to be focusing on this. And that is what helps with overwhelm. When it's like, oh, instead of you feel overwhelmed, you get derailed and you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to focus on. There's just a million things. And I don't know what they mean by revenue, needle movers or whatever else it is. It gets to be too much. So you focus on the things that you had pre-planned. And it helps to alleviate like that decision fatigue that you will have in that time.
And the thing is when you focus, I want to tell you all that that you can be profitable. You can be revenue generating, you can be profitable, but you can also feel easy. Intentionally easy, right? So that's where you're going to enjoy the season. I mean, that's when you're going to enjoy your business is when your business starts to feel a bit easier.
Yeah.
But it's not easy because you've got nothing to do. It's easy because, it's working. The profit is here. The revenue is here. It's selling. Customers are liking it. It starts to feel easy. And I think that's one of the biggest things we teach our students across the board is how can they build these businesses with more ease, with more intention, with focus.
Right. I think it has a lot to do with like, if you all attend the workshops, you will love it because it really is like snack size action steps. Yeah, they're free, but also because they're digestible. A lot of times it's like these little actions or these little mindset shifts that happen in those workshops. I mean, they're so much fun. And then it's like Jacqueline said, where it's like, there's these tiny little aha moments that happen, some big, some small, but then it starts to feel easier because of that. You're like, oh, aha, this makes sense. Or, oh, aha, this is what I'm supposed to focus on. Or, oh, aha, this is what I'm going to be doing in that time. And I don't have to pre-plan any of it, or I don't have to plan or decide in that time because I already had set up the plan and all I'm doing is being there in the moment and working in the moment and not having to like pre-plan all of it as on the fly as I go from the seat of my pants.
So I think that going back to the very first workshop, we're going to help you with time, right? So when you sign up and you come join us, but just to talk to you about it here is time and time management, right? So we want you to think about the time frame, the selling season. How many days are you going to sell your product, right? If we're going to think about when you start to really rev up for the Cyber Week, And then it goes through, those days before Christmas. And then when your cutoff date is for shipping and being there in time for Christmas, that is a time frame that you have to really hone in on, because that's when you're going to have to do your best selling. But pre all of that, right now, like if we're going to talk about what do I start doing right now, if you start to pre-plan right now is the time I would tell you, coaching you, is to start to deeply connect with your customers. Like right now is the time where you really start to hone in on knowing what they need, showing up for them being reminded of you, really starting to connect with you as a business and a small business. And the second part to that would then be to start growing your email list, your text message list, getting their information so that you can market to them when the time comes. So this is all the pre-work you want to do in the next 100 days leading up to the holiday season, because when it's not going to feel easy is if you just all of a sudden, pre-Black Friday, Cyber Week, you like send out promotions and you're like, 50% off, blah, blah, blah.
It's not working though.
There's
right?
nobody there to take your promotions. There's nobody there that's been waiting to buy from you.
Yeah.
And that's what you have
Nobody
to work on now.
sell to, essentially, right? Because you want a list to sell to. And I think that as we move into like the time and everything, I think Jacqueline hit the nail on the head the other day when we were talking, and she was like, well, right now people have less time than they ever have had, right? So what are they going to do with that time? It's so much more important to plan ahead, further ahead each year, I feel like, or at least, or in this time of really thinking about like Jacqueline said, connecting with your customer, because then you know that your time was well spent because you are breadcrumbing to your busy season, right? You are making sure that you are setting yourself up for success.
Mm-hmm. As like I am an expert at startups. I'm an expert at starting a company from ground zero scratch to their first launch of their collection. And so much so that business owners typically think I just need to build it, right? Like I just need to build the product, have a beautiful logo, a great website, a wonderful product, but they don't actually think about who are they going to sell to when it's ready. You put in all this time, money, and effort, but who's there to buy? So I had one of my one-on-one clients do such an amazing job. It was during the pandemic and things kept getting pushed off. She didn't actually have any product to sell. But she really worked on creating the community, right? She really worked on
building. This is the customer base, right? Because when we're starting our business, it's like we're thinking about the product that we want to bring to the world. But to be honest, if you have an audience or customer base, you can sell anything. Anything. So as long as you have the people and you validate the idea. So when you're figuring out what the product is, it's like, oh, will they buy this? Will they actually buy it with their hard-earned dollars sort of idea? And it's like, if you have the customer base, you can start to figure that out. But a lot of people, they're like, oh, I know the market's there, but they don't gather the market. They don't bring it together.
What I'm thinking. That's what I know that all of you should do, no matter what size business you are, is right now you start to gather the people, right? You start to create that warm audience. It doesn't matter what size you are, because I know we work with multi-million-dollar brands as well. Now is the time they start to do the work to really set them up for the holiday season, right? When you have nothing to sell, this is maybe not nothing to sell, but this is when you're starting to connect deeply and in a warm way, so that when the holiday, they want it, they want what you have, and then when the holiday season comes along and it's time to buy gifts or spend money on themselves, they're like, I've been waiting this entire time to buy it, and I'm finally going to buy it at this point.
And you have the customers to sell to, the customer base to turn to, and they might not all obviously buy from you because, there's timing in all of this, but they will. The hope is that they eventually do, right? You're gathering them and then building the customer base, and that even if they don't buy in December, they could buy in January, in March, or whatever it is. That's what's considered lifetime value, So, but you're at least getting them into your ecosystem. Of this is what my business is. So that's how I think.
That's how I would use the next 100 days. And here's a challenge to all of you. Can you grow 100 people? Can you get 100 more people to follow you? 100. Well, the following part I think isn't tangible. So can you add 100 people to your email list? Can you add 100 people to a text message list? Like, what can you do here? Now, if you're a bigger business, scale that. But let's go with 100, right? That's a person a day. Good luck. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to teach inside of the workshops, which is the next thing.
100 a day?
No, 100, one a day. One a
Oh,
day?
one a day. I was like, I don't know if they can do 100 a
No,
day.
like the vitamins, one a day.
Okay, that's more doable. You all could do one a day. That
I'm
seems a
only
lot
halfway through my
easier.
first cup of coffee, Mina.
I
You have
was
no
like,
idea.
that is like a go-getter right there.
No, no, no. One a day. Sorry.
Okay.
Take your coffee and don't spit it out. Okay. So the next thing we're going to work on inside the workshops, which we're going to talk about here, is we want you to prepare early to scale. We're going to talk about scaling, but with 100 days out, can you prepare early? And I think so much of that is, we've set our revenue goal. We think about all the things we want to do, but I know a lot of you out there are thinking, but how, right? Like you might be the
Yeah.
bottleneck.
This is the money part though. Like when you think about it, this is very much a version of the first one, but because time is money. But the first one, we're teaching you how to control your time. The second one, we're teaching you how to control your money. So this is streamlining, it's scaling, it's really understanding what to do with your time. Again, like I said, time, because time is money. And so like, if you're the bottleneck, you can't make everything with your own two hands. We actually get into mindset a lot in this workshop. So if you have that belief that you need to make all the things, or that you're a maker or even a manufacturer, it's so helpful in understanding how can I potentially scale? How can I really make it less effort, more profitable by being more efficient and effective in the usage of my time to convert it to money, essentially.
Yeah, because I think a big mindset thing that we hear a lot from our students is if I grow, I won't have the life I want to live, right? Like if I hit this, I want to have $100,000 business or a $500,000 business, or they have
But I'd
some
have to
big
sell
dream,
100,000 units.
and I'd have to make them all, and I would never leave my room, and I would never see my children, and I would never see the sunshine.
Yeah.
But that's not true. And I think one thing that we've realized more on the recent side from our own personal experiences is sometimes we see how our lives look today, and we think that our lives are going to be like that forever. We think that we can't even conceive what a different life would look like because all we know is what we're in today. So what we want to promise all of you is if you want to grow your business, we promise it won't look the same as it does today.
Yeah.
And there are ways to do it with ease, with time, with the ability to be with the people you love, to do the things you want to do, to have enough money for all of it. And it doesn't look the same way that it looks today. You just have to baby step it forward. You just have to take those steps forward. And that's the part of scaling.
Yeah, because you don't know what you don't know. And I think that that's the thing that people have to realize for themselves is that oftentimes it takes other people to be like, hey, you could do it this way. Or, hey, this is, you're kind of like holding yourself back in a lot of ways. How can you do this instead? And it will give you the life that you want. So that's really the idea of these workshops, is really for them to help you little by little get to the point of your life that you get to live the version of your life that you want to, which brings us to the last part, which is focus. Focus is a gift. Let me tell you. Because when you're feeling creative and you feel like you want to make all the things, or you feel like to your bones you're a creative, and that means that you need to make everything, or that means that you are creating all these things. But really, creative is creative problem solving. It's being scrappy with your innovation. It's being a lot of different things. But it's focusing also. It's focusing on the things that you know that will work. And if we can harness that superpower of yours of being creative and focus you on what products will make you money, on what ideas will really put you forward, and what skill sets you have, that is really, I think, a gift in itself of here's what you need to do with your product. And the workshop is really focused on how you can look at your own products lineup and understand that this is the thing that will buy you your ease in your life, and the time, and give you the money and the confidence, and so you're not having to make all the things, but you have the room to make the things if you want to, that you can play around and have like creative day or whatever, if that ends up being the case.
Yeah. And this is where, and if you've been with us for any sort of time, you've heard us talk about your bestseller, because so many times we ignore our bestsellers and we think we have to make more things. Like if I make more things, more people will buy from me. And that's when you're busy. You're just creating busyness. You're spending money that you shouldn't be spending on things that aren't selling versus really honing in and focusing on the things that are selling. This is where you become profitable. This is where you find the ease. This is when things start to get streamlined and move forward. So I think, in that final workshop, which was about focus, it's really going to help you think, what do I put front and center to sell? How will this be easier for me? How will this cost me less, but I can do more with it? And I think that's going to be a game changer for so many people.
Yeah, it's really digging deep for all of you of, how we always say, lean into what works. It's a much easier path to lean into what works instead of trying to push something or testing something that might not work, right?
Right.
But we have a tendency to be like, I'll just make more. Maybe I'll grab up these people or maybe I'll grab up these sales, But if you lean into what's already working, it feels ambiguous, like people are unclear on what does that even mean. So in the workshop, we really teach you about, okay, here's what that means. Here's how to look at what is your bestseller, what could be your bestseller, and how to lean into with these specific actions of what that could produce for you and what that could yield for you in like ease and revenue and all the things.
Yeah. So if you go to theproductboss.com/holiday, you can sign up for free now for the free workshop series. But here's a cool thing that if you've been through it with us before, there will be changes to what we're teaching. The world's looking a bit different. Things are happening, right? We want to be here to constantly support you in the time that it is now. And we're going to have a really cool VIP option. So there's going to be an option to have a VIP experience with us and go through these, this preparing for the holiday season in a different way than we've ever kind of provided before. So make sure to go to theproductboss.com/holiday to sign up and you'll get all of the details there.
Yeah. Thanks everybody. We'll see you in there.
Hey, Product Boss, it's that time of year again. The holiday season is just around the corner, and here at the Product Boss, we are getting prepared early for the holiday season. Now, we know you're going to have a lot more than turkey and pumpkin pie on your plate later this year. So, we want to invite you to our free 3-part workshop series, The Product Boss's Guide to Getting Holiday Ready and Recession-Proofing Your Business. Now, these workshops are brand new and revamped, and we're sharing some of the biggest tips and tricks on how to prepare yourself and your business so you can 2x your sales without 2xing your efforts. And with talks of a down economy, we want to make sure that you feel confident and prepared to push through no matter what. Listen, Product Boss, if we've learned anything over the past 2 years, we know you've got this, and we're stronger building our businesses together. And honestly, we have way too much fun to call it work. So the first workshop kicks off soon. Head to theproductboss.com/holiday to sign up today, and we will see you in there. Thank you for being here and listening all the way through the Product Boss podcast. If you love our show and it has helped you in any way in your business, would you mind doing 2 things for us? Subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode and leave us a review. Reviews help other product entrepreneurs know that this is the place to be to grow their businesses and realize that they're not alone. And we know that you all know that a 5-star and honest review helps you sell more products to more people. So you know that your reviews help us reach more listeners around the world. Remember, what we give is what we receive, and we are all about helping each other in the Product Boss community. We are all in this together. We would be so appreciative of you if you could take the time right now to subscribe, leave a review, and even share this episode on social or someone you know so we can impact more lives. And remember, subscribing means that you will get notified each time we release a new episode so you never miss a thing. You have helped us grow and climb into the top 10 of all marketing podcasts, and together we can keep climbing. Thank you, friends. And remember, there is room at the top for all of us.